Without further ado, please welcome one of the gurus of saxophone invention, one of the mouthpiece geniuses of the world. I say that without hesitation, it is true. It is a rare opportunity to have him in the United States, and certainly rare to have him here in the Midwest, as well as in Detroit. Please welcome Mr. Francois Louis.
Okay. Hello, all of you. First of all, thank you for being there. Big thanks to Chris for all his enthusiasm and dedication and desire of sharing all the experiences, so it's fantastic to bring me here. We discussed a little bit the way to present what I could present, because I could give you informations probably for days. And we have two sessions. First happening now for a little more than 1 hour, and the next going to be tomorrow early afternoon. So what he told me was his main concern, and what I would explain to all of you would be about sound. So also he likes to have this personal element. I'm afraid in this case I will have to talk about myself a little bit, which I'm not used to do that too often, but I think more and more it's nice to see everybody has his own way of stepping into this crazy saxophone instrument. It's probably the most crazy instrument that exists. And the rare thing, as he mentioned properly, it's still an instrument to be explored. So it's rare to have a kind of a young instrument that really got his landmarks in the jazz music and is still in progress. So it's also all about, I would say, my attitude in developing this work, my work with the saxophone. So actually, it's kind of a rare situation that I step in saxophone. I wasn't really interested in music when I was a kid. I built myself a little radio. I like to understand things, phenomena. I used to fix my bicycle myself and things. I built myself a little radio and I listened to, at the end, jazz broadcasting. And every night, I was a very good boy, went to sleep very early, listened to my little radio, and for 3 years, I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I was listening every night to jazz broadcasting. And then that was it. I've been totally in sports. I've been doing bicycle, I was swimming, then I played ice hockey for years. And I broke knees and things, and whatever. Then I started to race motorbikes. I was totally different. That became really my job. I was, motorbike mechanic and racer. And I spent all my life, all my time, or working in the garage, or working on my race engine and things. And all of a sudden, for any reason, I had this question, I would say it's more philosophical, that I thought it became a little crazy to spend so much vital energy to have two wheels, go as fast as possible, plus taking chances for my life. So I said, okay, what would I do with all this energy? And I was attracted by stepping in a hard discipline. I had hesitation. I like drama. I liked drama. Sculpture. It was really what was attracting me the most. And there was music. At that moment was still just distant music. Okay. For me it was like a little mystery. And I decided not to do drama because all the people I knew in this field, they were acting all day long and they were never themselves and things. Communication was hard. It shows out that there are not all of them like that, because of many friends that are actors and things, and we are very, very close, discuss a lot of things. But at that time, I didn't want to step in this community. Then the most attractive for me was sculpture, and I hesitated to do that because to handle material, it's kind of too easy for me. It's always been. I've always pick up stuff and put that in the shape I wanted pretty easily. And I think that if you want to go deep in what you have to express, you need to have some resistance. And I realized by the time it's very much the case for me. And it's not the case with everybody. I thought that the same way because when I approach the saxophone, I need resistance. I play big mouthpiece, strong reeds. And I realized that it's disturbing some other people and take all their ideas away. So everybody has his own way to approach things. But I needed that, and I realized I needed that, and I didn't have enough resistance from handling materials. So music was left, and that was scary. Music, well, everything happens in real time. You don't have a second chance. I mean, as soon as I started to think about music, that's really the thing I didn't want to do. But at the end, I decided to do it. And I had to pick up an instrument. I didn't decide about an instrument yet. It was just, okay, playing music. It was mostly obvious that it would be jazz music because I listened to those jazz broadcasting and it sounded familiar to me. And about jazz, I would say like the two main figures that came to me were Miles Davis and Sonny Rollins. Miles Davis for his type of invention, and I realized both of them for the treatment of the sound. I realized that later on, because at that time I didn't know much about sound. And the biggest feeling with Sonny was the freedom of expression. I can really use this word. I mean, it's this freedom of of course, sound expression and rhythmic expression. I mean, he's doing whatever he wants. He's always there. I mean, and didn't take too long, a little hesitation. I decided to play Sonny's instrument. Okay, I knew it was named saxophone. That's about all I knew about it. It was Sonny's horn. I wanted to play that. So I went to the music store and I said, I want a saxophone. So it was kind of real. Oh yeah, saxophone. What saxophone you want? Alto, tenor? I didn't even know. I knew by the pocket, of the LPs that it was shaped like this. Saxophone, I said. They looked at me, yeah. I think that's a tenor. So they showed me, yeah, saxophone. So I didn't make my decision right away because I saw that different, brand, somewhere affordable, some other unaffordable, expensive things. So let's stretch my head. Okay, I come back. So, I knew some musicians, I got some contacts, and someone introduced me to my man Bernard Loncheval, and we are very close friends since then, and very nice guy. He was playing saxophone. So we had a discussion, and he said, oh yeah, what do you want to play? The tenor, I said. I knew there was the tenor and the alto at least. So he advised me a little bit, and finally I decided to go buy a Selmer, and I bought, at that time it was the Mark 7, I bought a brand new Mark 7 tenor saxophone. Came back home, took everything apart, put the mouthpiece, look at this, something's missing. I had everything but no reeds. I didn't even know that it needed reed. Then I look at this. Oh, I saw a curve, and I realized, okay, it's like a valve. And okay, so there's this blade that has to vibrate. Okay. Went back to the store. Do you have reeds? Oh yeah, we have plenty of reeds. What for? Saxophone, tenor saxophone. Okay. So they showed me also lots of different reeds, and there were numbers. What are those numbers? Fourths. Oh, okay. Where does it start? 1.5. Where does it finish? 5. So I start to feel with my finger. Oh yeah, that's pretty strong. Oh, okay. So I took number 4 reeds. Went back home, put that because I didn't want to have soft reeds. Why would I play soft things? I always, did tough things. So okay. Came back home with those 4 reeds and started to blow without having a lesson. I didn't tell Bernard I had my saxophone. So at that time I was still working in the garage as mechanic. I don't know, you say that in English, while you quit the job, you have to announce that. So I went to see Lucien, I remember, it was the boss. Hey Lucien, so it's finished. What do you mean? Yeah, I quit the job. What do you mean you quit the job? Yeah, it's finished. So I had to do another 2 weeks or something like that. And for those 2 weeks, as soon as I was back home, I practiced like crazy by myself, playing this bye-bye song. And I went 2 weeks later playing this bye-bye song on the tenor saxophone with champagne at the garage. So then I called Bernard, I need a lesson. So that's really the way the whole thing started. And after a few lessons, I had this idea of having Sonny Rollins' sound. And the more I played, the less I had Sonny Rollins' sound. And I went crazy, so I went for a few lessons. And Bernard showed me how to put my fingers, told me not to make it too hard for me, that I should play a little softer reeds to start playing the saxophone. Okay, I follow all his advices, but one, because I step in one of those lessons asking him about mouthpieces. Man, what's that? I said, mouthpiece? I mean, play what you have. Yeah, but I see you have different mouthpieces, metal and what's that? Come on, don't step into that. So, why not? Man, it's a trap. Don't fall in that. No, learn how to play your saxophone for at least 5 years, and then you might think of maybe someday. Okay. I was back home and I had the answer to my question. Yes, this is the key. If he doesn't want me to step in, and it's too complicated for him, okay, I'll find a solution. But then I had this idea that the mouthpiece was really, if not the key, one important key of the sound of the saxophone. And I was back home. As soon as he said don't step into that, I took my files, opened up the mouthpiece, did things like that immediately, right away, and I could put more hair. Fantastic, I had a more hairy sound, like Sonny had a little bit. I could, have more space in my sound. It wasn't in tune anymore. And then I started to work around that. And he had given me a lot of work to practice. Practice all the scales, all the chords, all the intervals and things. There was no need for me to go to lesson anymore as I practiced all those things. And he also gave me 2 good advice. One was, okay, you're playing the tenor, that's a big horn. If you want to develop a sound, you have to play those low notes. So, the tenor is a sport, he said. I was prepared for that. I played ice hockey just before that. And I was prepared to invest a lot of physical energy in blowing the horn. So I say, if you really want to develop a sound on the tenor, you have to blow those 2 low notes below the C at least 1 hour a day. It means I blew those 2 notes at least 2 hours a day for probably 3-4 years. That was good. Second good advice, you say, okay, a good thing to start to play music is to, step in as soon as you can. So practice the pentatonic scale, blues pentatonic scale, that will help you to fit in situations with your ears, and play with recordings. I did play with Sonny, with Coltrane recordings all day long, blowing those low notes. Okay. Trying to develop a sound. But still, I had this problem. And then I started to really make an analysis of what a sound was. And that's what I'm really trying to tell you now. So I try to make it a little interactive. So here is the question. Big question mark. Okay. So now I ask you this question. So we use the element that you have as an answer for that to start the approach. So, anybody?
Vibrating columns of air.
Okay. What are things?
Compressions of air.
Containing a pattern of overtones. Containing a pattern of overtones.
Pattern of
Harmonic
overtones. All right. All this is true. So,
Frequencies. Varying frequencies.
frequencies. That's it. Okay. All those elements are interesting because they are all part of what a sound is. So I try to have like a more compact definition. The sound is a complex combination of why don't you see an acoustic in English? One. Okay. So in there, I guess almost everything is about the theory, because also it's a lot of other things we bring in sound that is personal, there's a vehicle for emotions, but we'll see by all those elements how we can put that in. Okay, so complex combination of acoustic waves. Waves is a more general term. We could have different type of waves, but waves contains frequencies and contains vibrating air current. Here you have the air element, that's our environment, but you could have wave in different environments, they wouldn't be acoustic. Because, that's not true. In the water, you can hear sounds and you don't have air. So the air element is not absolutely necessary for acoustic waves, but most of the time we won't play a concert under deep water, so let's keep it on air. Compression of air, it's also true because the acoustic wave actually is a variation of pressure and depression of the air that brings those waves to our ears. So all those elements are good. Pattern of overtone, that's this complex combination of acoustic waves, because they are plural, they are different waves.